Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Nestree tribe. And we are here below the squirrel tree, where we have quite an interesting family of squirrely cracker-jaw children being born lately. Pretty reliably, any child that Siku has with his two mates, Squee, who is quite the angry chattering tree squirrel, very defensive of her one and only tree, and Lala-is are constantly coming out as cracker-jaws. And it's actually really fun because these little ones are quite adept at being able to open up the nuts, and they're also pretty good at being able to defend themselves. And actually, now that I think about it, Siku, you do have a child who doesn't have cracker jaw, and that is actually his son Sikro, who was following after his father and grandfather's footsteps of searching out the wilds of the lands and trying to explore the edges of their territory. So Sikro is called to the Savannah Tiles, and he is very busy exploring this area. Lovely cactus that he's already found, and we're also running away from a predator who is lurking somewhere in the shadows down here. But hopefully he'll be able to find something, possibly even a new mate, or possibly that stray creature that we saw up at the riverside right before he ended up vanishing. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see what other surprises are hiding back here on this island that is so constantly full of strangers. And then over here, down by the bottom nest, we just had the birth of little Tuvan, who is Tavan and Rana's child. And he's actually quite interesting. He's got normal eyesight, thank goodness, digger paw, nimble fingers, normal hind legs, normal blood clotting, and C and A immunity. So he should be pretty healthy across the board. Much healthier than the child that was born in the nest last time, Coco. And little Coco is blind. She has hemophilia, she has doubled up immunity, and she has no paw. Pretty much as unhealthy as you can possibly get. And she has been taken under the wings of the nursery nest maker, the nursery nest weaver, midwife sort of creature, Isri. And Isri really loved her because Isri was born a natural nest weaver. She just has an instinct for being able to weave the nest and make them even tighter and stronger to protect the babies who are born in them and make them last a little bit longer. She gathers up what nesting material she can, and she also gathers up quite a few roots so that she's able to weave them into the nest and make the nest stronger. And she was born with the white ram horns. And so when there was a little baby, the very first birth she ever witnessed, who was born with white eyes and almost white ram horns, she fell totally in love with her and has since then always kept little Coco with her. So these two are kind of exploring around, gathering up what roots they can, making sure that this nest is constantly repaired and taken care of. And little Rana, I'm going to have to move her out of the nest, actually, and I'll have her gather up these berries. But Rana is starting to get quite old and slowing down a little bit. So I think little Tuvan, with his awesome poison fangs, is probably going to be her last contribution to the tribe. So she is just sort of passing on what wisdom she can to these little ones. And we'll have to see where their stories go, because this nesting material update, you guys, is making everything so much more difficult than it has ever been before. This nesting update, it's just so challenging to manage to get all of the grass that we need and all of the constant repairing of the nest. I'm just so thrilled that we actually have 2 active nests right now, but it's also made this tribe a lot more competitive. It has taken a long time for Squee to get over the fact that there are others possibly using her nest, and she is not very pleased about that. And I think it actually makes for very competitive daughters. So even though we do have Isqui and we have Sisivana over here as members of this family, I think that they're actually kind of eyeing each other up, and especially since they are almost adults, they're becoming very competitive and they want that nest spot. And if their mother and if Lala-is is already defending this nest, they're going to have to go somewhere else in order to have a nest tree, an entire nest tree of their own. And so we are going to have these little heiresses of the Nestree tribe move on to try to find some nest of their own and a tree of their own, thus the name Nestree. So we're going to have Isqui come on down here, and she is going to start the journey towards this tree, having seen it in the distance and heard rumors of how the family once upon a time tried to make it over this tree, but was turned back by a vicious predator who took out Safar. Safar passed away down here when a predator actually ate him. But Isqui is quite confident. She is one of our strongest creatures we've had born yet, so she's going to go down there and try to claim this tree as her own. own. And meanwhile, her half-sister, Sisivana, who is quite beautiful with her spots and her gorgeous blue eyes, is going to try to find somewhere that she can call her own home. And she does have the cracking ability, so that means she can eat from nuts. Let me see. She has got A and G immunity. And then over here we have B and A. Tavan, who would be a good mate for her? It's really tricky because we're starting to get everybody a little bit closely related, even though I've been trying for other things. I think Tuvan would make a good mate for her because he has blue eyes too. So I think Tuvan might wander up and get to meet with Sisivana in the future, but she's actually going to come over here. And she's going to walk right up to the edge and keep an eye on this tree that's sort of surrounded by all of this water and surrounded by a lot of streams. She's going to try to work her way over to that tree and claim it for herself instead. And then Siku, I'm going to have him scooch over, gather up that nut. I guess we can't shake the tree again, so he'll continue sitting on top of the rabbit burrow and keep it safe. And then let's see, is everybody moved now? Over here we have Sila, and since Sila has gotten old enough that she doesn't ever plan on having any more children, she is actually moving over here to help us gather up nesting material, kind of like Komi. Komi, I was kind of hoping she would stumble on a stray male in the forest, but we've just not had any luck with that down here. So she is focusing on primarily gathering up all of this glorious potential nesting material. So much grass, so much nesting material that we could use, and yet no nest, not enough to make another nest. It's so hard to get these nests up and going. All right, so now that everybody has moved, let's go ahead and see what's going to happen over here, keeping a wary eye for where the predator could come and waiting for little Takwi to be old enough that he can scooch over. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do with my male nesters, since it seems my females are the ones off to claim their own nest tree. And let's see. All right, no predator popping up, which is a good thing. So we're going to send a little Takwi down here. He's going to stand next to his mom and dad. Squee is going to collect up... Squee, who is your mate? Or Squee, who was... Takwi was the child of Siku and Squee. All right, and we're going to have... Lala she'll gather up a couple berries, and because she brought back some nest material last time, I think that Squee will forgive her, and we'll have them collect up a few more of the nuts, and then I can have Siku come over here and gather up these berries, which will be a really good thing. Wait, what was that? Was there something over here? Oh my! Oh, gracious! Komi! You've just met a handsome stranger here in the grasses. This is what I was hoping for, Komi. Komi, congratulations. Let's invite him into the tribe. Yes, all right. Wonderful. Look at this. Komi just discovered another cheetah creature in the tall grasses. So we have Rotaku. And what are his abilities? Let's see. A and B, hemophilia, normal eyesight, spiky body recessive, no paw. So he definitely isn't the best genetic wise, but I like him. So I think I'm going to name him, Rotu. Or Toru. That's not what I meant to type. Rotu. And there we go. So Komi, you finally found somebody that you can hopefully take as a mate, and we'll see if he can be awesome. No, he wasn't able to show. Dang it, I was hoping that they would be able to gather up some of the nesting material, but no luck there. We'll have Sela gather up what she can before she gets ready to pass away. We'll have to see, because now we have finally another new creature added in who's not genetically related to any of our current ones. But once more, I can't really do anything with him because we don't have a nest. This is so tricky. So let's see if we can gather up some nesting material down here. I'm going to have little Tuvan scooch over. There's no need to worry about birds here, so Rana is just going to scooch over here and chase, oh my gosh, chase down all these clamshells. And then Kokoko can gather up from all of these berries. And then over here, Nestree can just gather up from the beaches, all the roots along the beaches. So we don't really have to worry about little Tuvan being at risk because there's no birds here. And then Tavan can gather this up, and maybe he can start clearing. There's a renewable grass spot. Yes, that's what we need. That's what we desperately need. All right, we're gonna continue moving on. So Iskwi is going to like forge her way in, trying to make her way over to this big tree. Hopefully she won't get attacked by anything, and I think we might have to have her mate with Tavan, even though it's not ideal, just so that she is able to have a baby over here. But who is going to get to have the nest first? That's a good question. because we have lots of females that I want them to be able to have nest, and I want them to be able to have babies, but I don't have enough nest to go around or enough nesting material. So, all right, and Sissy Vana is going to scooch across, and she's going to slowly but surely be making her way over to this nest. And there's some renewable nesting material. Renewable nesting material. I really need to have more of my creatures perching by it. Like, we'll probably move Nestree up to over here for now, so that she can try to gather up whatever renewable nesting material we find over there. But let's go ahead and see what is rustling in the grasses over here with Isqui as she tries to make her way over to her own tree to claim, and hopefully can manage to pull off a nest. This is, oh no! Isqui! Don't let him get you! Show him who's boss! Alright, she sure showed him who's boss, and she managed to eat him too, so that's awesome. And we're gonna have Tavan pop up here because he will have heard all of that ruckus, and he'll start, oh, and what's this? I hope that's a bunny and not a predator caught in between them. But Tavan will have heard all of that ruckus, and he's coming over here to Isqui, who is busy trying to make her way to her tree to claim. No, the nest! No! Oh my gosh, a white ram horn again! Oh my gosh, Vanku! Welcome to the world, Vanku! What are your skills? Oh my goodness, A and B. He's got blue eyes. Vanku, are you going to end up having to be Sissy Vana's mate because you've got those beautiful blue eyes? He just may have to be. Nice. All right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Squee is going to be panicking. She is going to be like, get out of the nest! Get out of the nest! I need to fix it! Squee, like, that's 100% what she focuses on every time. And I think Lalais is going to step to the side really quickly. Little Takwi. What am I going to do with Takwi? He actually... No, Takwi! Your name! I need to be more careful about that. Takwi has really good cracking, collecting, and he's got decent attack. So I may move him over here for now so he can kind of search the beaches for clamshells and also gather up any of those grasses and the berry pieces. And then I think that Squee will have just gotten over her panic about the nest starting to take some damage. And Siku, should I have you mate with her again? They're having a lot of interesting and healthy children, actually. So I'm going to go ahead. I already have 16 creatures in the family. How much longer? They're starting to live a little bit longer now that we're getting more creatures too. So I think I'll go ahead and have them mate just because I think it'd be a good idea to constantly keep that little influx. And I think that Squee may have the next child because they're trading off with having children. All right, and then over here, we have got Sikro, who is actually gathering up some renewable nesting material, thank goodness. And then Sissy Vana, who has found another spot where there's renewable nesting material, and I have to send somebody up here to harvest that, probably Squee. She's like torn between territorial defense of her little tree, her nest tree, and also trying to gather up new nesting material, so we'll have to see. All right, and we've got rustling over here I'll have to cope with next time. Probably a predator because it's not moving. And we're gonna scooch little Coco over so that she can stay with her like adoptive mother. And then Tuvan. Tuvan, would you make a good mate? I think he would make a good mate for Sissy Vana. Pretty sure. Maybe I should have moved Sissy Vana down there. The nesting material thing just throws everything off and makes it all so much more difficult. All right, Tuvan, I could leave you here and move her over there. Maybe I'll try to send back Komi. Maybe I'll try to send back Komi and Rotu to that nest, actually, because Komi has done her fair share of exploration. And I think I'm going to have her go ahead and become pregnant. And we'll just send these two across the way back over to this nest. And Tuvan can go up to the tree. So he can hopefully find a mate over there. Oh my gosh, we're never going to have enough nesting material. We're just doomed on that. But at least we'll establish our 3 nest trees and then start working from there. I think that's our current goal because this is the Nestree family. So let's go ahead and see what the rustling in the grasses happens to become. I am predicting a predator, which is not a good thing, but let's go ahead and see. It's a bunny, thank goodness. So Tavan can jump on top of the bunny. Oh my gosh, there's like a whole bunny burrow. There's a whole bunch of perfect spots over here. Isqui, I think, is in love because she's almost, well, maybe with Tavan, but she's almost made her way to her very own tree. Look at this bounty of food around here. So Isqui has invested in a wonderful tree. No competition with another female over here to share the nest with. And unfortunately, not a nest though. So she's going to have to gather up material to make her own nest. And then we can scooch little Vanku over. We're really having some awesome babies with this group. I'm pretty proud. And then Siku and Squee are probably going to have another baby now. So Squee, come on over. We'll go ahead and have you two mate. And we'll go ahead and have her gather up a nut and then jump into the bush. And so Squee, what do we need to watch out for? I want to make sure that their children... I want to make sure the no paw is gone. But I also, I think I'm going to leave what we've currently got just to focus on making sure no paw is completely removed from the equation. If there's any possibility of no paw, we will stick by it and like try to make sure it doesn't happen. All right, Takwi will gather up those berries. We've got so much food. I don't really need to worry about food so much. Strength ability too low. To collect regrowing grass? What? Sissivana? She can't. Unlike her sister, who's super strong, this will be an interesting genetic divergence to see. So over here, Isqui is actually very strong. She's got a lot of claw ability, a lot of strength behind her ram horns. I think she even has big body. She has normal body, but she has big body secondary. So Isqui turns out to be the stronger of the two sisters who are currently claiming their trees. And what am I going to do when it comes to Sissivana, because she doesn't even have enough strength to collect up the regrowable grass? That's kind of amazing. Would Tuvan? And Tuvan has the digging ability, so I wonder if their children would end up, because he's going to just be wandering around, he can grab this regrowable grass, but she can't get the regrowable grass. I didn't even know that you needed strength to be able to do that, but there is a lot of regrowable grass around this tree, so we're going to have to see which of the two sisters has ended up discovering the best tree for raising their own side of the family. And meanwhile, speaking of raising sides of the family, oh, Sila's about to pass away. Oh, Sila. Let's see. Can I get you to explore anything else? Oh, she brought a valuable piece. I'm almost in tears. That's more valuable than food to contribute to the tribe now. A little bit. Oh no, we lost our old female over here. Oh, it's more valuable to contribute grass to the tribe now than it is food. All right, Nkomi is going to have to cross the big barrier of the river, and Rotu is going to be right behind her, and they're going to be working their way down here so that little Kokoko and Nestree can actually keep an eye on their babies. So let's move Kokoko over here. She's blind, but she can still gather up the berries that they can find, and hopefully we'll figure out something fun to be able to do with Isri. I really loved the idea of there being nest weavers, but I'm not sure if this island is well suited to it. I think that she has a good heart. Her heart is in the right place, especially helping out those who were born weak. And I think that it's really fun that she's gathering up a bunch of roots to weave into the nest. But this is just such a competitive tribe. Everybody wants their own tree. Everybody wants their own nest. We're gonna have to see where it goes. All right, and then back here we have Sikro, who I probably need to think about sending back home if I want him to pass on his genetics at some point. But Sikro is still exploring the savanna tiles back there. So, all right, let's go ahead and see what kind of baby is going to be born to Squee now. Well, let's see what kind of little squirrel we have. And it's another fat-faced squirrel with white horns again. Nice. I might have Isri actually mate with Vanku now that I think about it, because then they could really pass on some really good things. None of them have no paw, for instance, and also would be able to pass on those white ram horns and maybe officially make some nest weavers, which would make a lot of sense for them to be descended from Squee, who's absolutely obsessive. Like, she would see this nesting material and have to go get it, even though she just had a baby. Like, abandon the baby, I need that nesting material. I might have Vanku go down there, actually. And he does have cracking ability, attack, and fishing. So he's getting a little bit better, because look, normal blood clotting, normal eyesight. This is really working out quite well. So I'll have him start moving down there, and maybe he and Isri can end up meeting and falling for one another. So we'll have to see what happens there. All right, and then once we have some healthy creatures where we've got a whole selection that don't have hemophilia, they don't have blind eyes, they don't have no paw, then we'll probably jump off this island and pop over to the middle island instead. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll end up falling in love with all of the Nestree spots instead. All right, so Tavan is going to be super awesome. He's going to try to collect up a little bit of nesting material. I think Isqui is quite interested in him, to be completely honest. Oh, and she can actually cut down these berry bushes to try to make more nesting material. Oh, what is it? Strength level 4 is what you need to be able to cut down berry bushes. Now I know. So I think Isqui is going to wiggle her way towards the tree. And we need just a couple more nesting material for her to be able to claim that. So, And then I'm going to have Lalais just go ahead and gather up some more berries before she gives birth. And who else needs to move? We've got the very, very heavily pregnant Komi over here. So let's see if Rotu can... Oh no, the nest! The nest, why? All right, all hands on deck. All hands on deck. Isri would immediately get over here to repair it because that is the thing she is supposed to do. Komi has now shown up and is ready to have her own babies. We're going to leave the claw and digging paw in the mutation menu so that we can get rid of the no paw that Rotu has brought into the family, as well as Komi. In fact, they're almost they are identical. They're practically identical. Just Komi can smell things a little bit better. Oh my gosh. So their traits are really sillily identical. We're losing some of our older females who wandered away to try to gather up nest material. Takwi, I'm going to send down here to see if there's any clams. No. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with you, my dear Sikro. You're going to just have to sit here and try... Oh, yes, more nesting material. Try to gather things up. And then, let's see. Where are you? Little Tuvan is going to work his way up here and stumble upon the spot where Sisivana is trying to clear away some of the grasses, even though she can't clear away the regrowing grasses, to see if she's going to have more success claiming this area than her sister is going to have success on the other side of the island with her nest tree. So, we'll have to see how that works out. And then Rotu can pop over here to help out with gathering berries from the berry barrier. And we've got one pregnant female on the nest right over here. So, all right, let's go ahead and see what kind of baby Komi has. It's a crackerjaw with no paw. Why? Oh, it's a little girl with crackerjaw just showing up out of the blue again. Crackerjaw happens to be the recessive that Rotu had, and she does thankfully have violet eyes hiding in there, and she has claw and no paw, so she has normal eyesight. At least that's a good thing. But dang it, I was really hoping and she at least wasn't born with spiky body. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how little Anara grows up, and maybe she'll end up being a wanderer too. Oh, there's a little... The grass is regrown! Oh, no, Vantu, get it. Oh, that's so exciting. The grass is back. Oh, thank goodness. We'll have to harvest up that grass. That'll make everybody super happy. And we're going to scooch little Anara. She's so... I don't know what it is about the white ram horns. I really love it. And I love that the crackerjaw this time around represents a bunch of squirrels. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with little baby Anara yet. So we're going to have her move over, and her dad is going to keep a good eye on her. And then we'll have Squee come over. Now that she has gathered up what she needed in terms of the regrowable grass, she's going to be quite insistent on guarding the nest again. Lalais is going to jump into the nest to have another child. And we're getting quite a few creatures. I need more nesting material. I really do. Yes, Isqui, I'm so proud of you. All right, and here we go, trying to gather up nesting material. Come on, we're so close. And Isqui has come to the nest that she is, or the tree she is going to claim as her nest tree. And there's quite a few nuts. She doesn't have to deal with any streams right next to the trees. Unfortunately, there is a rock that will sort of steal away some of the nuts that we could have from this tree. But she's got a lot of berry bushes. She's got access to the ocean. She's got access to the beaches. So we'll have to see what kind of children she ends up having there, if she ever even has the possibility of having children, which is entirely dependent on getting more nesting material. And speaking of nesting material, right over here, Sisivana is still clearing away what she can. And then, yes, there's another piece. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's still not quite there. And Tuvan is working his way over to Sisivana. So he's going to end up settling over here, hopefully having many children with Diggerpaw. That can be quite useful. He probably was raised by our wonderful nest weaver Isri, and so he saw the way that you can weave in roots into the nest, and maybe we'll end up having our nest weavers after all, because we do have a lot of white ram horns. I wonder if they might become like the expert nest weavers. At this point, we're still just trying to survive. So we'll have to see how the stories play out. And then Coco at least can offer, I imagine she gathers up a whole bunch of berries as carefully as she can, and she offers them to the babies. That just as her way of being able to contribute to the whole family. And Isri won't go too far, still within sight distance of Coco. And then we'll have Rotu. I'll have him pop up here and gather up those berries for the moment. Whew, all right. So we're kind of settling in. I'm really happy for three main things. We're starting to have our story evolve with settling the females around the nest trees. We're starting to get to the point where we have tons and tons of food, so when we do decide to move, we'll be totally fine. And I really like these white ram horns that are showing up. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with them just yet, but the good news is a lot of the children who are currently being born no longer have no paws, so we won't have to worry about that, and we can start moving on to focusing on other things. So, Squee, stay. Oh no, Squee! We might lose Squee and Siku and Lalais next time. Oh, that'd be so sad. I love my little trio that we've got right here. They've had some amazing children. So we're going to have to see where their children continue to explore, and maybe we'll have a new female end up having to claim this empty nest. The nests are just such a point of competition instead of cooperation this time around. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.